Hello, hello.
Hey, David, how are you today?
Hi, how are you?
Living the dream.
Okay, so this is not a video one because I try to click on videos, right? Yeah, it's just us
It should
talking.
be. Yeah, right now it's just us talking. You should be able to add your video now.
Okay, cannot start your video because the host hasn't disabled it. Okay. Says,
So I'm
and
going
we
to
go
make
ahead.
you the host.
Probably
Okay.
should make Steve the host, but yeah,
Okay. And then
make
could you
Steve the
actually,
host.
I'm going to make both of you guys hosts. Now you want to check your video? It should work.
Oh, you can do that, and you can make two people hosts. Yeah, there I am.
All right. Now, can you send that back to me? So you just highlight me and go make host?
Make host. How do I do that? Switch gallery. Switch. I'm not.
So if you click on participants on the bottom.
Yep. Okay, and I'm looking at. I'm the host.
You're going to click on my name, ConnectWise Tuesday, and then hit more.
More. Remove.
So when you hover over my name, it should say mute and more in blue.
It says mute, chat, make host. There it goes. Now you're the host.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So where are you in Florida?
Yes, I'm in Tampa.
Oh, you must have much better weather than I have right now. We got 9 inches
actually, we're
of snow.
wearing short sleeves and everything. Not bad. I gotta admit. How are you? All right. Oh, you got a bunch of guitars there. Adam would love that.
Those are my ukuleles. That's what I do when I'm not working. So I'm right outside of Chicago. We got hit with 9 inches of snow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
9 inches?
9 inches.
Where are you? Where is that? Like what part? What are you like? So everyone's northwest, right, of Chicago?
Yeah. So I'm the suburb right next to here. So everybody flies into that one airport, and I'm the displaying the suburb right there.
Gotcha. Am I okay? People aren't going to see us. We're just talking, aren't we?
Right now, we're just talking. People aren't going to show up till top of the hour, but I like to hop on here.
Yeah, are they going to see us though? Should I make sure that I'm better angle here?
Pretty low key. It's
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you look fine.
All right, that's good. Sometimes my head's like, you know.
Yeah, I struggle with that too because I have some big monitors, so it's either looking right down on me or you get nothing but face.
So yeah, how's everything going? Are you guys like in that you're on the ConnectWise program where they actually give you implementations a certain number every week type thing?
Yeah, so I do the automate stuff, and it's been great. It's a great program.
Oh, you do for the automate?
Yep. And we do these sessions once a week, and then we rotate through the different products in the suite. And then on the last Tuesday of the month, we have a industry speaker.
Gotcha.
And that's what you guys are. All right. So while we're waiting to Steve, I will be right back, if that's okay.
Sure. Go ahead. Can you hear me, Steve? You're muted.
Yes, I believe everybody can hear you.
There's only us two. The host is out for a second. He had to go
got it. Okay.
get ready for. He just wanted to get us in here before we get going. Anyway, the bonobos. I'll send you what happened.
Yeah.
So I get alerts from LifeLock, and so I've been giving this to our sales team so they could kind of talk about it a little bit, just to kind of understand the. Little about what happened. There was a breach that happened on the 21st, and so they've just emailed everyone, told them what's going on, and I guess the advantage of a password vaulting product is it's just what's our action item after something like this? Change your password, right?
Well, the key is at the last line of what you just sent me. Is that they're saying change your password at any place you use the same password. Well, you're not supposed to use the same password anywhere. So that when a breach happens, because they're going to continue to happen, it's limited to just the one spot. So if they steal your Bonobo's password, it doesn't matter. Well, it sucks, right? But they don't get your bank login because they're different. And the only way to keep that in place where they're all different is to use a password manager. Without it, it's impossible to do by hand.
Exactly. Okay. What's the most? How long can most passwords be?
Depends on the site, but 20 characters or more is generally a good recommendation. Our default is 20 characters.
Okay. Environment. So just on that NDA I was looking at, it just, it's very, very slammed in their direction.
Everything's being recorded, David. So I'm set up with the PowerPoints and a demo, and I was also going to touch on
sorry about that. All right, Steve.
Hey.
Do you have the ability to do a video, or do I need to promote you and then have you promote me?
Start video. Let's see. You cannot because your host has stopped it. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to make you host. That is going to give you the ability to do video, and then if you can just make me host back.
Yep, as soon as I figure out how to do that.
You're going to highlight my name, click on more, and then make host.
Yep, got it. You want to change the host to you, so yep, I'm going to do that. So now you're the host.
You did that a lot faster than me, Steve. Like an IQ test.
All right, so we're good. We've got videos on. In about 5 minutes, I'll push this to Facebook to start the Facebook Live. And like I said, I'll do the welcome. And then Steve, you're the founder. And then David, what's your official role? How do you guys want me to introduce you?
Yeah, investor advisor right now. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. There we go.
And
John.
can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Then I'm going to open up the Q&A box and just get all that ready too. So.
Yeah, and I'll manage that. I'll let you know when questions come.
And do you want to do them as they come in? You want to wait a bit? I mean, you tell me how you want to work, and we'll just.
Yeah, usually they kind of trickle in, and we'll find stopping or pause points, and I'll hit them. But if we got a lot, then we'll put them over to the. I can say we'll wait till the end. Typically, that's not the problem.
Okay. So when we get to the actual, just when we get to the demo part, I was going to go through quickly the client app, quickly the portal, and then show the ConnectWise control integration since it's a ConnectWise audience.
I think that's great. All right, so we'll let people flow in. I usually like to get started about 5 after. And then, yeah, I'll give my 5-minute welcome spiel and kind of turn it over to you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm really excited about this.
Yep, so are we.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for inviting us. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute here in the meantime, so I don't say anything stupid.
So are we recording now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we are live on Facebook. Welcome everybody. We're just going to wait a couple minutes. I think we're a couple minutes early. We'll just wait till a couple minutes after the top of the hour, and then we'll get started. Got a lot to cover. We're really excited today.
Hey, Will, do we know when they're going to start having live conferences again?
Oh, over at ConnectWise?
Anywhere in the industry?
I do not. I haven't heard anything. Not privy to any of that.
I saw
just
that the 20 is going to do something down in Dallas, apparently in September.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe around fall, this stuff will start opening up again. I was supposed to get married in April. We had to push it back. So hopefully by early September, this stuff will be gone so I can finally get married.
My son got married in October last year, and there was some discussion, and his fiance, now my daughter-in-law, she goes, heck no, we're going. You guys can show up if you want. Otherwise, we're getting married. I'm not pushing, which I can certainly understand.
Yeah, it's a struggle, a tough decision. You got to figure out, like, for us, we wanted to make sure everybody's there and everybody was there safely. But I totally understand I'm not putting this off anymore. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
Get this deal signed.
Yeah, seriously. I told her if we have to push this one back, we're going to Vegas, and Elvis will marry us.
Yeah. Well, it's a good story then too, right? Yeah. Kind of interested. Have you been able to see if MSPs have had a little bit of a downturn in their business? I know our MSP in Tampa here, we're definitely off 10% at least. Not enough to get that second PPP loan.
You know who would be able to answer that is our boss, Josh, because he's the one that's working with our clients on their financials and stuff.
Okay.
I'm the technical resource, so I don't get it. I'm not privy to any of that fun stuff.
Yeah, I had our accountant trying to go through. I said, hey, can we get that second PPP loan? Which there's some rules where I think you have to be off 20% or 25% in a quarter, one of your previous 4 quarters compared to the prior year. And we didn't hit any of those. So that's good news and bad news, right?
Right.
I haven't seen many MSPs be off that much as far as revenue. Some actually, I know we did really well in the second quarter of.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of like, hey, we need VPNs now. We need remote workforce capability, and I think from the MSPs that I worked with, I know right when that happened, they got a lot of project work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Welcome everybody to ConnectWise Tuesday. last Tuesday of January. We've got our industry speaker. Very exciting today. Just a little public service announcement. I'm Will Young. I'm from Bering McKinley. We are here every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Central to give you guys a chance to ask the expert and provide you guys any knowledge. How we cycle through these is the first Tuesday of the month. We have Rose on talking about ConnectWise Manage. I'm here with you guys the second Tuesday of the month regarding ConnectWise Automates. Third Tuesday of the month is Rose again with ConnectWise Sell, and then we bring in an industry speaker on the last Tuesday of the month. And we're really excited this month to have a couple of different speakers from Password Boss. We've got Steve Wise, who's the founder, and David Bellini, who's the CEO, also formerly of ConnectWise. And then we also have John, who is, I'm sorry, John, I forgot your title. So we're really excited to talk about just passwords and MSPs and passwords and kind of what we as an industry, where we struggle and what we can be doing better. And with that, I'm gonna stop blabbing and turn it over to Steve.
Thank you. Welcome everybody. Thanks for taking some time to hear about how we can help you with password management, learn a little bit more about password management for your MSP, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Password Boss as well. And then at the end, we're going to give you a demo of Password Boss and show you some of the cool features that we do and how we integrate nicely with ConnectWise as well. So there's some nice stuff that we're going to touch on there. We've got a just a short presentation to just get us started here a little bit. And I guess really what we're going to talk about here is why password management is important for your MSP and why now is the time to be considering it. And one of the things that I think it's important to know about Password Boss is that we come from the channel. Obviously, a lot of people are familiar with David and ConnectWise and that connection. But I also ran an MSP myself for 9 years before starting Password Boss. So I've sat in your chairs, I've used the tools, the technology, and tried to solve all the same problems that you're trying to solve. So as we like to say, we've been there and done that, and we're still doing it in a lot of cases. And a lot of the team at Password Boss has got really deep channel experience. So what we try to do, what we try to build into Password Boss is really taking that real world knowledge experience that we've got, bring it to Password Boss to solve both your internal challenges with passwords. Where do you store them? How do you share them? How do you use them? And then also as a, taking Password Boss as a product down to your end users, because keep in mind, every one of your end users hates passwords, just like the rest of us do, right? And in most cases, they still don't have any sort of tool set to manage their passwords now. So it's really an open opportunity because probably in the next couple of years, you're going to start to see that most of them have a tool in place, and we'd really like them to get it from you. I'm going to let David jump in here too. And
thanks, Steve. Yeah, we did an investment in Password Boss in October, so we're newer to at least Password Boss, but a lot of us are here now. We're adding a lot of resources to the company. I still own an MSP called ConnectOn here in Tampa. We're probably about 16 employees, and we do about 4 million to the top line. We've been averaging about $1 million to the bottom line, so about 25% margin to the bottom line. And one of the ways, obviously, in order to be profitable like that, you have to be able to resell products that you're using internally down to your customers. Okay, so we have best practices on virus protection, firewalls, everything, and now including we've added Password Boss to our security stack that we sell to all of our customers. And most of our customers are like customers you guys have. They're small businesses they don't really have their own IT departments. They might have 1 or 2 people, but by and large, we are their outsourced IT department. Okay, so we've been running, Arnie and I started that business, back in the early 80s. So we've been doing it for many, many years here in Tampa. And I mentioned the 4 million top line, $1 million to the bottom line. I would tell you that that's not going to be the case here in 2020. It's probably going to be a little off. as I was talking a little earlier to Will, I think that we'll probably not be as good, mostly because of COVID. We're a little business down a little bit. We had some folks in the retail business, and they've kind of had to, stop using some of our managed services. We still have them as customers, but the point being, though, that we're looking to bolster our bottom line, and I think it's important to continue to add new product offerings to your mix. And that's what we're offering here with Password Boss, an ability for you to resell this at, up to 400% margin to your customers.
Wonderful. Let me just skip forward. I think we skipped over a couple of pages we already touched on. So there's some nice pictures if you want to know who we are. And we touched on this a little bit too, kind of what we're going to go through today. I think we're probably just going to jump into it here, and let's talk about the problem, right? The security breaches are the norm, right? They're not the exception anymore. They're happening every day. There was another one just hit the news here, I don't know, an hour or so ago.
Yeah, actually, we just had one that I'm part of LifeLock, and so LifeLock will always broadcast these breaches. Bonobos, I don't know if anyone knows who they are. They're a subsidiary of Walmart. It's a online clothing retailer, Bonobos, and they had 7 million customers exposed during their breach. They just announced it on the 21st of January. And so, and a lot of them, I think about 1.8 million of those were password exposures. So, these are the things that everyone's dealing with, and it's only on the rise. And so that's why organizing all of your small business owners, you remember that's your customer. So those small business owners need to be organized with password vaulting, okay? Not just for their business, but also for all their personal stuff as well. And our product will handle both personal and their business passwords all in one, vault. So we recommend that you definitely start organizing them. If you don't, someone will. So that's kind of what we recognize, that these breaches are coming more often, and these passwords need to be a little bit longer and more hardened.
Hey, one of the things, David, I think is important to point out is in that notification that you shared with me that you got from LifeLock, the last recommendation in it was, if you're using this password somewhere else, you need to go change that password. And that really, I think, really solidifies kind of what the real issue is here, is that people are using the same password everywhere. And as soon as somebody steals your account and your password from Bonobos, they're going to go try and log in everywhere else on the internet that they can think of that you might have an account. And that's how they're starting to steal your personal data. And the only way to really protect yourself from that is to have a different password everywhere that's not reused. We are never going to be able to stop security breaches, right? We just aren't. They're going to continue. They're increasing in velocity, and that's going to continue. But what we can do is we can mitigate the risk of a security breach when it does happen. Say, for example, your account was in that Bonobos data breach that happened. If you haven't used that password anywhere else, the limit here is what's happened at Bonobos. It's not at the bank. It's not at Netflix. It's not on your logging into ConnectWise. God forbid you've got the same password there. So it's a little bit. If we can really use the tool to really reduce the scope of the breach when it does occur, because they're going to occur, right? We're not going to stop them, but what we want to do is limit how far those breaches go. And again,
so no password should never be the same, because I do have one that I use all the time. As a matter of fact, in the MSP practice, we used to use the same exact password for our admin that at every single customer. Why? Because it was organized and all our system engineers knew it. So yeah, you're saying everyone, every item, every device, every site has a unique password.
Yep, it's the only way to limit the scope of when a breach occurs, right? Because if you think in terms of what happens with that stolen data, is that they're going to take that database of stolen passwords or the hashes of the passwords or whatever they've taken. They're going to compare it against breaches that they've had in the past where passwords have been extracted. They've got password lists. And then they're going to take your email address or your username, and they're going to run dictionary attacks using those long list of passwords to try to break into the rest of your accounts. And again, that's going to happen. But if you haven't used the same password for all of your accounts everywhere, right, it's not going to work for them. So you're protecting yourself by just having separate passwords for everything. And you can't do that unless you've got a tool to manage those passwords for you. It's physically impossible. I mean, the last time I checked, I had close to 800 passwords just in my personal account, right, in ConnectWise. You know, you can't remember 800 passwords. You know, I can't. Maybe somebody can, but I can't.
And remember, as an MSP, you are responsible for all your small business owners. Okay, and I know at ConnectOn, you know, we probably have a core of 80 to 150 small businesses in the Tampa Bay area. And I can tell you, a lot of these owners are not very technically savvy, and that's why they hire us, right? And they probably have all these passwords scattered on spreadsheets, notes. Matter of fact, myself, I got to be honest with you, I had all mine on my iPhone on notes, and I just had them all listed. About 150 different passwords with my auto insurance, banks, credit cards, you name it. And every single small business owner is the exact same way. And they will appreciate you organizing them and vaulting them up.
And the numbers that we see, and there's not you know perfect numbers for this, but you know, from what we've seen, you know, about 75% of small businesses don't have a password manager now, right? A lot of people will rely on Chrome, you know, that's got limited functionality, you know, sharing and, you know, different stuff. So it allows them to save passwords. But if you're looking at, you know, a tool that a full featured tool to manage the passwords for the business, you know, the vast majority of businesses out there don't have one today. But we think that within a couple of years, most of them will have one. And it's going to be, you know, we kind of see some similarities there to the antivirus market. This is going back a little ways, but where, I mean, you wouldn't imagine going into a customer today that doesn't have antivirus. I mean, you wouldn't pick them up as a client, you wouldn't maintain them because things are just going to go wrong, right? You know, the first thing you're going to do is put antivirus in. And we think that the same thing is starting to happen with password management, because if you really think about it, the passwords that your customers have, it's probably the last unprotected bit of their network, right? You've got the firewalls, you've got the spam filters, you got the AV, but the passwords unlock the doors to everything. And in most cases, those passwords are unsecured. And
and Steve, your point about the virus protection, I do remember being an MSP, I guess probably in the late 90s or something like that. We didn't always put in virus protection because it was too large of a footprint. It would all of a sudden crash, use up all the memory. So there was definitely a time and a place where it was like, I don't really want to put that in. You know, I don't want to, you know, be the straw that breaks the camel's back on a couple of these old systems. But now that's, of course, you know, the first thing you do when you come in and take over a new company is, you know, you put your virus protection out there, and it's the virus protection that you use for best practices, right? Because, you know, each one of them has their own idiosyncrasies. So you want to put on your product that you know and that you're intimate with, that you're using internally yourself. And we think that same phenomenon is happening with the password vaulting at this point. You're going to have your product that you know intimately and that you can kind of support. I know my guys, you know, they're like, you know, I don't want to support something. It's more stuff I have to do for free. Well, we're not doing this for free. You know, we're charging, you know, the customers $4, whatever you choose to, but, you know, retail probably $4 to $8 per mailbox per user per month. So we have a very good markup, a 400% markup for our MSP, so they can make money on that and support it. It's not a lot of support once you get it all in place and everything's organized for those small business owners.
And I think the last thing to really point out here on the screen too is that, you know, we hear about in the news and the stuff about the big breaches like the Bonobos, but over half of security breach victims are small businesses, right? You know, those are the ones that don't make the news, but that's where the numbers are. So it's keep it in mind that this is impacting your customers, right? So it directly then impacts, it's going to impact your business as well. But, you know, passwords are, again, we touched on this a little bit before. Passwords are hard to do, right? You know, in the good old days, you know, back when I had my MSP, and this is going back a while, you know, just like David, we used the same set of passwords for all the different clients, for all the different servers, because we didn't have a better option, right? We just didn't. And unfortunately, that's still true today in a lot of MSPs that we talk to. And you really need to get yourselves away from that, because that's really opening yourselves up to risk that you don't need to be opening yourself up to. You know, God forbid somebody gets in and gets one of your passwords and figures out it works everywhere. You know, MSPs have got a target on their back, and you have to have top tier security on your passwords in-house as well. But at the same time, you have to balance that security with being able to get your tickets done, being able to close the tickets and, you know, run your business too. So there's a balance there between security and usability. And we spent a lot of time on the usability aspect of that, making a tool that you're actually going to want to use, right? That it actually makes your life easier, it keeps things secure, but you're actually getting a lot of benefits out of that. We're going to do a quick demo of the product here at the end, and we'll show you some of the time-saving things that we've built into it. So it makes, you know, if you're going to use a 20 or 40 character password, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're never typing it in. So the system is going to do this for you. So then just, you know, just a couple of other features that are kind of built into, you know, a password manager. When you're looking at a password manager, and you can use us, you can use somebody else, but you really need to use something. We prefer you use us. And you'll see on the demo that, you know, those integrations that we've done because of our MSP industry background. So again, building stuff that is going to ultimately save you as an MSP time during your day, get your guys solving tickets quicker.
Yeah, Steve, can I add to that there? I think you mentioned a good point. You know, we'd rather have you use our product than one of the more, maybe some of the industry ones that are more consumer based. Our whole thing's going to be through an MSP channel. So you're not going to compete with us on the product. So if your customer goes to our website and sees it and wants to buy it, it's not going to have any type of way for them to purchase from us. It's going to go through the MSP channel. Okay. And so that way we can control the margins and make sure you guys are profitable. I, as an MSP owner, certainly understand that. I remember back in the day, I'm dating myself when I say this, but I started the MSP practice way back in early 80s, but Novell always wanted to register the end user's name, and they wanted to have contact information for that end user. And I always felt like they were trying to get one by me. And, you know, I allowed it to happen. And it went pretty good for about 4 years. But then year 5, year 6, all of a sudden, CompUSA, which was a big computer store that came into every single city, you know, the next thing I know, they're sending to every single one of my customers that had registered with Novell some type of upgrade notice. Hey, upgrade your Novell with us. You know, we're the Novell experts in Tampa. And I just was always very, very offended by that. I didn't think that was appropriate. And we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that we never, ever compromise our channel, which is going to be through MSPs.
And I think it's good to know that the people that you're working with have got your back, right? I mean, we come from the channel. We're here to support you. And we're going to be there for you. So we're going to be in the corner fighting for you. Our success depends on your success with the product. So some of the benefits of Password Boss and using a password manager and selling a password manager actually down to your, again, using it internally, but having your end user customers use it. One, it's a security best practice, right? The same way coming into a network, you're never going to touch a computer or a network or a customer that doesn't have antivirus. You know, gone are the days of passwords on sticky notes, on the monitor, on the keyboard, in the pencil drawer. I mean, those things have got to go away, and we got to get the password secured on everybody's networks, right? And then, you know, when you've got a tool that's got integrations into the tool set that you're using, and that can be into ConnectWise, or that can be into some of the other tools that are supported out there, you're gaining efficiencies. Because Password Boss serves 2 main goals, right? We secure your passwords. That's the easy part. I mean, that's the easy benefit to see. The other one is Password Boss is a productivity tool, right? So if you think in terms of logging into a remote servers or workstations all day long, with Password Boss, you don't have to start copying and pasting passwords between screens, between applications. With Password Boss, when you're logging into the server out at your customer site, Password Boss is going to drop the password in for you directly out of Password Boss. You don't even need to think about it, right? I can show you that when we're done here a little bit to give you an idea what that means. But I mean, these are the types of efficiencies and productivity boosts that are built into the product, but we really try to extend them into really MSP specific tool sets. Like our integration with ConnectWise Control is a great example of that. We work with the other, TeamViewer, Datto, Splashtop, Login, and we continue to add to that list. Again, we want you to use Password Boss for everything, so we need to, we're pretty agnostic as far as the tool set we support. We want to support the tools that you choose to use. Obviously we're here to talk about ConnectWise, and we've got a lot of great integrations with that. The ConnectWise Control one is probably the coolest one that we've got, and again, we'll show you that a bit later too. And one of the other big benefits here with password management, just in general, Password Boss specifically, is that once your customers start using a password manager, they can't stop, right? Because they don't know any of their passwords anymore, right? It's just what happens, right? So you're building an app, you're delivering an application to your customers that really makes them sticky as far as a client for your business, right? Even though password management on a per user monthly basis is relatively inexpensive, it's one of the main apps that you're going to be using throughout the day as you're logging into stuff. It's kind of like email. I mean, you're in and out of it all day long, and being able to provide that and have that sticky factor with your customers from using it, I mean, they just can't stop, right? I mean, once you've started using a password manager, you're just never going to stop. I mean, I can't imagine what to do with 700 passwords without a tool to put it in. And having that tool in place, just makes it easier to hold on to customers, talk about other security needs that they've got, right? I mean, passwords is one piece of it, but it's part of the entire security stack that you need to be talking about with your customers.
Yeah, that's a good point, Steve, is it does make you very, very sticky. And I think each one of us as MSP owners, we always need to kind of prove ourselves each and every quarter, each and every day and month with these small business owners. I know that, we're always vulnerable to maybe some new management coming into the small business and then bringing in their trusted MSP that they've used in previous businesses. So we're always looking to get a seat at the table. What I mean when I say seat at the table, a seat at the board table for a small business. So you're one of the advisors, us, the lawyer, the accountant, the tax preparer. So we are a trusted advisor of the small business owner, and we need to be coming in and saying, look, we have an organization for all your passwords, not just with business, but for everything with home. We make sure that we're going to satisfy any needs you need here. If you get hit by the proverbial bus, we have a backup system. This would automatically go to your lawyer or maybe to your wife, so that they have all your passwords in the event that something bad happened and you were no longer able to access the system. So we have all the technology built in to organize it. The way I look at it is, if I go to my small business owner and I say, as an MSP owner, I go, hey, I want to organize this. And they say no. Hey, no, I don't want to do that. It sounds too complicated. I check the box. Hey, I've kind of covered myself on the liability of this a little bit. And, they'll eventually probably jump on and start doing something with us as time goes on. But it's important for me to get out there and say, hey, I'd like to organize you a little better, because that's your job. Your job is to organize these, relatively naive small business owners when it comes to their data needs. And think about it. All their employees have left the firewall. No one's behind the firewall anymore. Everyone's working remote. So all the protection of the firewall's kind of gone away a little bit because everyone's remote now. Yes, VPNs are in place. I can tell you that I would guarantee a lot of you guys aren't using VPNs, but still having a secure password is important for the VPN process as well. best practice. So I think it's important to always notify all your small business owners, hey, we've got some new features to help you during this. Every application's gone up into the cloud. All your employees have gone home.
Yeah, and the other side of this too is how this impacts your business as an MSP. Password Boss is an additional revenue stream for you, right? So it, in addition to being the revenue stream, it strengthens that relationship with your customers again, because they can't, once they've started using the product, they can't stop. So again, that builds that relationship, tightens it a bit. You're now talking about more in-depth security concerns and issues with your customers. And while you're doing this, I mean, the ultimate goal here is, we're all in the MSP business here. And when I had my MSP, David's in it still, is that, we're in it to make some money, right? And the only way you can make money is, one, if you've got a product that you're using yourselves internally, right? Because most of us would like to use the same products internally as we're reselling to our customers. Got to have a decent price point, but it's got to have nice margin, right? So you really have to be able to make some money doing it. And we've set up the pricing with Password Boss where you can get 50% or higher margins. I mean, it's pretty significant. The bigger you get, the better pricing that you get. And probably one of the biggest set of support issues that your team is facing, and if you've got metrics on this, you can probably validate this yourselves, is that how many issues do you get from your end users that are related to passwords, right? And we can look at that in a couple of different ways, right? So if we take a look at your customers, right? In each one of your customers, if they have a password issue, a couple of times a month per user, I mean, that's pretty reasonable. That's a pretty low occurrence, right? If you're able to remove those password issues that each of the end users are having out at your customers just paid for Password Boss, right? Think of the productivity boost, right? Because we're now not spending 20 minutes tracking down who's got the password, who's got the post-it note with the password, how do I get into the site? Let's reset it 3 times before it works. All of that just goes away with Password Boss, right? So from a productivity side, on your customer side, they get password management for free, and they also, well, they get the productivity boost, right? Which then makes password management effectively free on the network. But if you look in terms also with your team as well, I mean, the same sort of productivity boost your team is going to get with switching screens, switching apps. Really, a lot of this is designed to just lower your costs. So Password Boss can really increase what you're bringing to the bottom line at the end of the month or end of the year. And this, with password management, you can really round out the security stack that you're using. And David's touched on this a little bit. I mean, when you come into your customers, they're bringing you in as the experts as to what they need to install in their network. And I know when I was an MSP, my customers purchased everything. All of their technology purchases came through us. And they didn't have an IT person, they had us, right? And we were, we had effectively a seat at the table with them. And we were their CTO, their CIO. We did everything for the technology that they needed, and they relied on our recommendations, right? To keep them secure because they don't have the background in that space. That's why the MSP space exists.
Yeah, it's no different than me using my tax attorney or my tax CPA. I don't know how to do all those things. I'm going to go to them to make sure that they, allow me to make sure I do everything correctly.
Things, right?
What's that?
And you don't even want to know how to do those things.
No, exactly. And that's small. Your small business owners doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, let's do this. We've talked about Password Boss a bit. Let me show it to you. And we'll go through a quick demo here. We've got a couple things to show you. So let me change screens here. So let's get this one out of here. And let's get this one back. So some of you may have seen Password Boss in the past. Maybe you haven't, but I'll give everybody kind of a quick overview of what we are and how we work. And after this, if there's more information that you need, we can, of course, get that for you. But I'm going to touch on some of the highlights here. If you've got any questions, again, we've got the Q&A in the Zoom meeting controls. There's a Q&A button. You can pop some questions in there. When we're done, we can wrap up and answer all those questions. But what you're looking at here is Password Boss, and we're an app, right? So you install Password Boss wherever you want to access your passwords from. And this is the Windows version, but we've also got a Mac version. And then on mobile, we've got iOS and Android. And if you make a change on one of those devices, we synchronize those changes to all of your devices. And what we're doing here, everything that you see in the app here, all these passwords, we store this locally on each device in an encrypted database. You know, security is top of mind for us, obviously, being in the password space. So we've got end-to-end security on everything. But what you're looking at here is all still encrypted locally. And then when you back up your data, or you synchronize between devices, or you even share something with somebody else, we move fully encrypted data at that point. At no point can we ever see what's inside of that data in your account or your user's account. Everything is secure and private to just the account owners.
So Steve, real quick, I just wanted to step back a second. Each one of these tiles, just for clarification, represents, you know, the actual login site and the password and login name. So
yeah,
each one of those is a container.
Yep. So I mean, here's your ConnectWise login. Here's a server login, a server login. So each one represents a different login. And then let me show you what we're storing. And so Asana here. Let's just take a quick peek in this one. Asana is a website, right? And this is the type of information that we store for a website, right? So we have a URL, because we need that so when you open that page in your browser, our browser extensions know what username and passwords to fill in for you. One of the really big things that we do is foldering, right? So we've got a very powerful foldering system that allows you to organize passwords too. You know, it's one thing to have passwords, it's another thing to be able to organize them. And this is a pretty common MSP example that I've got here, where you could have a customers folder, then customer 1, 2, 3. I mean, you can come in and make as many as you need, and even subfolders too. So again, it makes it easy to structure your passwords, to save them. But the other big thing that we do with folders is that when it comes time to share passwords, this is really where the power of the foldering system kicks in. Because if I needed to share this servers folder with my techs, I can do it, right? I don't need to move the password somewhere else, make a separate shared folder, do anything else. I just share it from where I've organized them. So it's very intuitive. It's very much the same way Windows sharing works and file systems. So both on the same thing. And then when you share at a higher level, like at the customer 3 level, the recipients get everything underneath there. Again, so it's real easy to organize and get the passwords out to your team. So again, foldering, very powerful, but very flexible, right? So we'll just leave that guy there. Everywhere in Password Boss, we have a password field. We've also got a password generator, because we're really looking for your passwords to look like this, right? And again, this comes back to the where we started this conversation earlier today. Every password needs to be different, right? And you shouldn't have any idea what they are. And the only way to do it is with a tool like this. And then I touched on this a little bit before too. So when you click on this check password button, we're actually doing a dark web scan on that password to see if it's ever been found in a security breach. And if it has, we tell you how many times. So this one's been found 2.4 million times. So it's a pretty bad password, but it's also probably a password everybody's seen before, right? Password 1. This password should make your list of passwords to get changed. And when you do, we do have a new icon here that shows up. It's the history icon. So you can go back in time and you can see what all the old passwords were, because sometimes you need the old ones too. And then one of the really big features that Password Boss has got built in is that Password Boss can become your authenticator app for sites with 2FA. We can generate your codes for you, right? So this means that the end users or your team or anybody using Password Boss doesn't now need another separate app on their phone to generate the codes, right? With Password Boss, it's built in. And then the really big benefit here, think in terms of MSP use case. When I share this password with you, and this site has got 2FA on it, when you get the password, you're also going to get the codes. So if we think in terms of Microsoft Global Admin logins, right? where you got to have 2FA on those accounts now. And unless everybody's in the same room sharing the same phone, it can be, which they're probably not anymore, right? It can be challenging to get everybody the codes, right? And we've seen some crazy implementations of how people are trying to get people codes. But with Password Boss, it's built in, right? So we've solved that problem. So again, this is a huge feature for MSPs. You know, it tends to be used all the time.
It was, yeah, Steve, they used to have at my MSP, I used to call it the Bride of Frankenstein. It was, they would have they had an iPad set up in the middle of the tech room, and all of the 2FA stuff would flow to that, and then everyone would jump on, try to, you know, screen share that device so they could get it. So it was pretty crazy what they did prior to us installing Password Boss.
Yeah, it was a pretty elaborate implementation. It's probably one of the most elaborate ones I've seen. But you know, when they saw this, they said, "Oh, this is it, right?" I mean, this solves the problem. And then what you're going to notice throughout the whole app, we've got a nice, clean, simple interface, right? Makes it really easy to work with the app. Makes it easy to find your passwords and stuff. There's different views in the application. Again, making it easy to work with the application. It shouldn't be a burden to use a password manager. With Password Boss, it's not. And there's a lot of other features in the app that we don't have a lot of time to jump through, but you know, there's a digital wallet as well. We store your personal information too. This is stuff that will fill into websites for you. It's, you know, time-saving features. We have a secure notes section where you can store, you know, important data that isn't passwords, goes in here. Our identities feature is a form filling feature. Again, it's a really slick time-saving feature. So we'll fill in, you know, you're buying something online, we'll fill in the whole page with a single click, so you don't have to, you know, jump through 25 different fields. And sharing, we've touched on this a little bit too. And sharing ends up being one of the most used features that we have in the app. Certainly for MSPs, sharing passwords amongst your team, but also your customers, right? I mean, they're sharing passwords now, except they're doing it on Post-it notes and spreadsheets and chats and emails. But with Password Boss, we've got a very simple, clean interface that allows you to share different items with different people. You can assign different permissions based on, you know, who needs access to what and what type of access they need. Again, and you know, it's a very powerful system, but it's also real simple to work with, right? Again, throughout the entire application in Password Boss, we've built it so you don't need to be an engineer to use it, right? So all of your end users will be comfortable using the product too. There's an emergency feature where you can pre-designate somebody to have access to your account in case of an emergency. David touched on this before. So for example, my wife is my emergency contact, and you know, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, with a single click, she can actually access all my passwords. We've got a browser built into the app here. The security dashboard, this is a fantastic tool for your end users. It's a fantastic tool for you as well, because it's a great sales tool. But what it is, it's actually a snapshot of each user's account, right? And because we're running at the client level, it means that we can see all the passwords down at the client, right? So we can tell you how many are compromised, duplicate, weak, and old, and we give each user a score, right? So in this case, 95 is pretty good, but honestly, when most people start using Password Boss, they come in with a pretty low score, because most people either, and again, touched on this a couple times already, they also either use the same password everywhere, or they're just using weak passwords. But as you start to use Password Boss, we start creating new passwords for you, and your score goes up, right? And that's how we can demonstrate that we're improving your online security. And we do have a couple of dark web scans built in down here too, where you can actually scan all of your passwords at once. It takes a couple of minutes to run, but when it's done, you actually get all the details out here. So again, very powerful information. Here's that Asana password that we saw before. And then the other dark web scan that we do is an email scan. So you can scan your email address or anybody's to see if it's been found in a breach. And we've just scanned, we're in a test account here, we're in Alex's account, so nothing found there. But if we just quickly pop in one of my old ones. And again, you can scan yours or your customers or even a prospect's, right? So this one's been found in 17 different security breaches. And then we list them all out for you. So everything's here, right? Because what we're really trying to do with our dark web scans is to get people to change their passwords, right? That's how you improve your security. And again, we touched on this before. If you're using the same password everywhere, you're not secure. Even if it's a 60-character password, it doesn't matter. You're not secure. A couple other things just to look at real quickly in the app here, and then I'm going to actually show you the management side of this. In the settings section of the app, in the security section here, we've got two-step verification, so you can turn that on to get actually into Password Boss. So it adds an extra layer of security. And then on the advanced tab here, I just want to show you a couple things too. So we can log into Windows apps too, not just browsers, and logging into remote systems, right? Remote servers. And we've touched on all the different tools that we support, but let me grab a ConnectWise control window here real quickly and show you how this thing really works, because this is really pretty slick. Right, so if you guys are using control, this is again just a control window. And with Password Boss, you get yourself to the login screen. Sorry, my VM seems to be taking a nap here, so let's get him to wake up. There he goes. You get yourself to the login screen, and we have an extension that snaps in here, right? And you're going to see Password Boss fire up over here. And then what we've done is we've identified the device that you're connected to, right? Then we're going to show you all the usernames and passwords that you've saved for that device. When you click on one of those, we're going to log you in, right? There's no copy paste. There's no switching between apps. You know, it's all done right here. And again, this is one of those big efficiency boosts that we built in specifically for MSPs. And now that you're logged into that device, the rest of your account is here, right? So once you're on that device, if you need to log into another app, a database, a server, whatever it is, the rest of your account is here, right? Again, no more switching between screens, switching between apps, you know, wasting time. Password Boss, we're trying to eliminate that to make it fast and easy for you. So again, fantastic tool, works very similarly with the other platforms that we support. But yeah, it ends up being a favorite tool for MSPs. So on the...
Hey, Steve, can I put you on the spot real quick?
Sure.
Can you show an example of the ConnectWise Manage auto login?
ConnectWise Manage auto login. Yeah, let me see. I don't know if I've even set it up. So let me actually get a client here. Let me check my ConnectWise login here. Actually, well, let's just show it to you. Right. So when you've got an app, let me get this out of the way. So when the thick client comes up, right, we call it our login helper, right? And you click on this, and it's going to show you my usernames and passwords that I've got saved for this app. Right? So in this case, we've got one. We've got ConnectWise. Right? So we've got Alex, and it's going to go ahead and log me in. This account isn't fully set up. It will actually populate the company name and the URL too. So you put me on the spot and you caught me, but we will fill in.
We can do it for HubSpot.
Yeah, we'll do it for all 4 fields. So again, you don't need to know it. And this is the thick client too, right? This is not the website. We work fine on the website, but the thick client tends to be what a lot of people use. So again, we've automated that step. And if you follow the docs, we fill in these two as well. So let me show you the management side of this thing. So I'm going to show you our partner portal, and I'm going to show you how the application app actually works. Let me just actually get rid of some of these bookmarks here because they're a little bit distracting. There we go. So the way Password Boss works is we've got an extension that, you know, it snaps in up here, and when you click on it, it's going to show you your account, right? So everything in your account is here. And if you click on one of these guys that acts like a bookmark, it'll take you there, and then it'll log you there, right? And then when you get to your page, right, we're putting these owls in the fields, right? So if you click on an owl, we're going to show you the usernames and passwords that you've got for that site. And in this case, we're going to click on this one, and we're going to get logged in. And you're going to notice here, we work great on these multi-page logins as well. We use them ourselves, all right? And then this guy's going to log in. And had this been a site that has 2FA on it, you're going to get this pop-up in the corner that shows you what your current codes are and that they've been copied, right? So quick, easy way to log into sites that have got 2FA. So in this case, I've got 2FA on that account, but not on the actual site, so just a demo purposes. But this is our multi-tenant partner portal. And then as an MSP partner, this is what you're going to log into. This is what you're going to see. And we spent a whole lot of time making this really slick, easy to use with a lot of power in it. And you know, we're coming in here in a company's view tab, and what you see is a list of companies here, right? We've actually logged in here as Contoso, who's, you know, everybody's favorite MSP. So this would be your company here. And then these would be your customers, right? So you've got visibility into everybody. A couple of the things you can actually see in the dashboard here, license counts, so you know who's got how many licenses, so that's pretty slick. If you've got a PSA integration set up, those icons are going to appear here. If you've got an Active Directory connector set up, those are going to appear here. And what we do with our PSA integrations, you know, let's just talk about ConnectWise Manage, right? So when you go to add a new company or new customer and provision Password Boss, we can bring them over directly from Manage, right? So we reach into your Manage instance, you know, it's all secure, and you can, you know, quickly provision customers into Password Boss from Manage. And then the other thing that our connector or integration does is on the back end of that, is that we will update the user account, your licenses here, on your agreements in Manage, so that when you're sending out your invoices at the end of the month, it's not a manual true up. We've done it for you, right? It's really slick, you know, so you save that time, you save that step at the end of the month that delays you getting your invoices out. With Password Boss, we've automated it. But let me show you what's inside of these, right? So let's click into Contoso here, which is our test company. And we've got a lot of power built into the app, right? So we've got a full set of, you know, management where we've got users, groups, devices, you know, it makes it easy to manage and provision customers, deploy, you know, onboard, offboard customers. You know, we've got a full set of security policies as well. So it allows you to really set up the type of security that's really right for each customer, because everybody's a little bit different. So we've got a lot of different options in here and how you can do configuration for your customers. Again, very, very powerful, but easy to use. And I touched on this a little bit before too. We've got two Active Directory connector options. We've got an on-prem Active Directory connector, or we've got an Azure Active Directory connector, either way. So depending on where your user accounts are, you can usually provision quickly with Password Boss. So it makes it easy to onboard and provision users to get them up and running quickly and easily. And then let me just touch on quickly what that Manage integration looks like with ConnectWise. So on our integrations tab here on ConnectWise Manage here, it's real easy to set up, right? It takes about 5 minutes. We've got step-by-step instructions, right? It's real simple. You just follow those. And then you end up creating 2 products in Manage, right? And these products become what we put on your billing agreements when you send the invoices out. And then you set up a sync schedule, right? After that, it's done, right? On the company mappings tab, this will actually show you, let me flip this one around here. This will show you who you've got provisioned, right? So these are the Password Boss companies. These are the companies that you've got linked in Manage. These are the actual names of the billing agreements in Manage. And then this is the last time we did a sync, right? And then if you've got other companies who aren't set up yet, you know, one of these, for example, you can always come back in and sync it later. It's not that big a deal. It just takes a second. So again, real easy to use, right? You know, I can't tell you how many bad portals I've logged into in my life. And we spent a whole lot of time with Password Boss making it fast, efficient, easy to use, right? So that you use it. And again, it's all about efficiency and getting your job done. So that kind of wraps up the demo of both the management side of Password Boss as well as the actual client app side. So I think
we've got some questions. Can I
let's jump into those. Yeah,
okay, so we got 2 different people asking about what distinguishes Password Boss from an IT Glue or an IT Boost, and let's throw a LastPass in there too.
All right. Well, probably the biggest thing here, and let's talk in terms of LastPass, and then we'll talk in terms of the other guys too. We're channel friendly, right? With Password Boss, you can use it internally. We integrate with the tools that you're using. You know, we've just looked at several of them. You can sell it through down to your end customers. You can make money doing it, right? You've got a nice centralized management console to manage everybody, right? A lot of the other tools out there don't have that. So, right, it's just, you don't have visibility, you don't have control, but with Password Boss, you do. And honestly, you know, personal preference here, I think the Password Boss is a lot easier to use than all the other tools that you mentioned, because we spent a tremendous amount of time on the user experience, right? I'm going to bring the app back up here.
Steve, can I jump in there and help you? Some of the things, as far as IT Glue and IT Boost, I mean, those are documentation systems. We're not trying to be a documentation system. We're trying to be a password management system. So I think that those are documentation systems that have some password management. And now we're a password management system that, I guess we have some secure node areas that you could consider very, very light documentation, but we're really focused on one thing only.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of our partners use both, right? They use IT Glue for what it's really built for, which is documentation, and they use Password Boss for the passwords. So we're not going to become a document management platform. We are going to continue to solve the password problem.
Okay, Matt is asking about supported browsers.
Sure. So we have browser extensions. Let me get this out of here so it's a little easier to see. So we support all the major browsers. So Chrome, IE, Firefox, Edge, Vivaldi, Brave. And then on Mac, we also had support for Safari. So we support all the major browsers.
John is asking about the application, the auto application login, if it works with the Automate Tick client.
With the Automate Tick client.
The ConnectWise Automate Tick client.
I haven't personally tested it. If it doesn't,
yeah, John, I can answer that. It doesn't yet.
Okay, well, we can make that work. So there's a little bit of secret sauce that goes into making application login work, because all applications are built a little bit differently. But we can usually, if there's one that's not working, we can usually make it work.
All right, and then Sparkle is asking, can you use the policy section to force clients to change their system passwords every 6 months or another interval?
You can force the users to change the password to log into Password Boss, yes.
All right, did I get everybody's questions? Does it function on a mobile device, iOS or Android, to autofill apps and sites?
Yes. So for example, I'm an iPhone user, and I open up my bank app and I've got a password, it's a mile long to get in there. And Password Boss jumps in, I tap the login, it fills it in for me. There's no copy paste. It's built right in. We do the same thing on iOS and on Android.
Excellent. Anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, I've got one other thing just to throw up here on the screen too.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a special offer. So we always want to throw that out there. So we actually extended our an offer that we had running end of Q4 last year through February 12th. So anybody who's interested in becoming a partner with Password Boss, we're discounting the pricing 10%, and we're including 10% more free users. As well as, this is, we're doing this just for this group here, is that we're also including free personal lifetime licenses, so you can give those to your customers to use at home, right? So if they bring it into their business, we'll give you licenses that they can then take and set up for their home accounts, right? So again, really strengthening the bond between you and your customers, and it's a nice promo. Those licenses are actually worth quite a bit, so it's a good way to bring Password Boss in and roll it out.
We have a question about what Msrp. What is Msrp?
MSRP on Password Boss is about $4 or so. We're seeing it sold from $4, $5, $6 per user per month. Most of the time, it's being bundled in with other products, so you're not showing the user an individual line item price. But we have guys doing it both ways. But most of the time, we're seeing it go in as a part of a security stack. So again, easy to roll it out.
Okay. Is there any way to extract passwords in IT Glue to be moved into Password Boss?
Well, with Password Boss, you can bring passwords in from a lot of different spots. So I'm going to bring the client tab back out here. But in Password Boss, we can do password importing from a lot of different sources, right? Oops, there we go. We can bring it in from browsers, files. The big one here is files, right? So in this option, we've got a lot of different options in here for a lot of different password managers. right? We got an automate one in here as well. But so again, I know there's some LastPass users out there. We've got to import instructions for that as well. But if what you're storing your passwords in here isn't listed, it's not a big deal because we've got some fantastic CSV templates. You just copy and paste it into our templates because we've got the column set up correctly. And then you can just import into Password Boss. So regardless of the source of your data, we try to make it real easy, again, to get your passwords into Password Boss. So again, these are great tools. So again, makes it bringing data in relatively pain-free.
All right. And then we have another question on the standard and advanced pricing. That's not for the MSP product, correct?
Right. So if you're in the, we have two versions of Password Boss, if you will. There's a standard and an advanced. And I'm just going to jump into one of these companies because it's easier just to show it here. When you're in the partner program, you get advanced, right? And you can put advanced or standard wherever you want. It's really a choice that you have as the MSP. But there's two things that differentiate them. In our security policy section here, we've got all of these advanced security policies. You need to be on an advanced subscription for those. And these are the really good ones, right? So again, we're trying, we're not shy about it. We want people on advanced because they really need the benefit of these policies. The other thing that you get on the advanced is the Active Directory connectors. And again, to use the connectors, you need to be on an advanced subscription. So those are the differences. But when you join the partner program, you're given a bucket of licenses, and you can choose if you want to sell standard or advanced to your customers. It's a choice that you make. We'd encourage you to do advanced, but you've got the option.
All right. Last call for questions. Wonderful. Well, I just thank you everybody for coming out. Extra special thank you to David and Steve for making the time to come and speak today. If anybody has any questions, passwordboss.com. You can go there to get more information. You can hit me up via email. And this webinar has been recorded. We will upload this on the Bering McKinley Facebook page and YouTube page if you want to refer to that. Please let us know if you have any questions and if you want to learn more.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.